Welcome to another episode of Boating Radio Waves. And let me tell you something, I have had my hands full over the past bit. I have been working on my ignition system on my boat, and I want to take you through this process because it's been pretty extensive. I thought I had just something simple that needed to be taken care of. In my previous video, I've showed you how I flushed out the rear part of the engine, cleaning out all the barnacles with Barnacle Buster. And that took care of one of my motors. So just long and the short, over the past year, I've had a couple things happen. One is one of my engines started to develop steam, and so it was running hot, and I didn't know if I needed to replace the thermostat, if there was something else. I flushed that engine, actually both engines, while I was doing it, and found that kept the engine from getting hot. So I've got that one engine running great. That's the port side motor. The second engine, the starboard side motor, has been having this horrible backfire and actually has been wanting to cut off. And so in the past, I've just replaced the ignition coil, but this time I decided that I would replace all the spark plugs, the distributor, the cap, rotor, coil, the whole thing. And so I really ran into some interesting things along the way. Long and the short, I've got it back running again, and I'm very excited about that. So I'm going to take you through the process one step at a time. See those pictures there? That's what a blown ignition looks like. So I didn't realize that this boat has electronic ignition. I thought it had points like a normal distributor does, but it actually has electronic ignition. And what happened was, obviously some of these parts are really old, but I wired this up wrong and I blew it. So I'll show you another picture here in a second of the actual blown module. So check this out. So from that picture, you can see that the igniter was blown, and I had to order a new one, which came in through, thank God, Amazon. It's a Protronix igniter. I've got some pictures of that. I'll show you those. And then I'll show you what the new igniter looks like on the distributor, and then kind of take you through the process. So once I had the igniter on, it was time to put the rotor cap on. I've got a picture of that and the part number. Then I was able to put the distributor cap on top of the rotor cap, which is where it's supposed to go. And then I've got the coil that I hooked up that came from the igniter. So the igniter goes to the coil. And so I'll show you that. When doing a project like this, it makes sense to try to replace as many pieces that could fail that are kind of together at the same time. So I also replaced my spark plugs. I've got pictures of what I used. I replaced my distributor cap. And then I purchased a timing light to make sure that the timing on the engine is correct so it could adjust the timing. And I'm not really great at this, so I had my brother help me with it because I'm still like a fuel injected man. So anyway, I think we've got the timing right. The engine runs great, and now it's time for some just better weather. It's so cold and gross right now. It's January and we're supposed to have snow this next week, and today it's rainy and gross. And the last thing you want to do is take a boat out on a sea trial and start fouling out on you. But I do think it's going to be better. The big issue I had from the very beginning was the spark. It was spark knocking and backfiring. Interestingly enough, when I went through and changed all the spark plugs out, some of the spark plugs weren't tightened all the way down, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if they worked themselves out or what. And of course, I had a spark plug wire laying on the floor, so it's not going to run right at all. So that's probably the problem that I had the entire time, and I just went through all this process. But I'm glad I did it because it's something is necessary. You do need to tune your engine up at some point. So I'm excited to take it on the sea trial. I really hope that this summer I could really open these motors up and really give them what they've got. I know that that's going to make cruising a lot more fun and a lot faster. So anyway, Radio Waves out.